addicts. This is Joe from Black Box Silver and Bronze, and I've had some things stacking up, so I thought I'd share them with you. Stand by for some more comics. Hello again, comic friends. That stack of comics includes a gift from Mike Smith, Nighttiger Comics, some dollar pickups at my local comic shop, as well as some purchases from eBay, Newkadia, and some other sellers. So let's get into it. The first comic I want to show you is Archie's Holiday Magic one-shot, and this is the Virginia Comic-Con variant. Merry Christmas. The next four are a gift from Mike Smith. He's got a channel called Nighttiger Comics, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. Check him out. He's got a lot of great comics, especially Golden Age. He loves Golden Age, and these are the comics he gave me. All Aboard Mr. Lincoln. He knows I love train covers, and so he sent me this promotional comic. Very cool. He sent me 2 issues of Strange Suspense Stories from Charlton. This is issue number 8. And he also sent me issue number 3. I love these Charlton Comics, Silver Age Charlton Comics, Strange Suspense Stories, great stuff, great covers. And my favorite one of the bunch, this Golden Age Tex Granger, which is got a great train cover on it as well. I love the sunset. I love covers that have the oranges and reds and yellow kind of sunset. They do a lot of those on the Westerns, and this is another beautiful. So Mike, thank you very much. I really appreciate them. They're all great, and please check his channel out. The next 2 comics are part of the True Vision series I'm putting together. I was able to pick up Cookie number 49. As you can see, this one's slabbed. It will be coming out of the slab. This one has been a hard one for me to find, so I went ahead and bought the slabbed copy of it. I'm going to break it free. And I also got Cookie issue 50. Now, this one's coverless, but it's complete. Everything is attached, and it's complete. It's just missing the cover, and I got it for $10. So this is going to be a project. I'm going to try to see if I can make a reproduction cover, how well I can do that. So this is issue 50. And as I've mentioned before, the way True Vision works is they've got the black borders. The characters in the foreground are always in bright colors, and they're popping out of the panels. And the backgrounds are always kind of pastel-y faded covers to kind of give it the image of a 3D effect without actually wearing the red and green glasses. And in some of these, the whole book is not like that. In Cookie, in this issue of Cookie, there's 3 stories. The first one is like that. And then the second story is just regular with the white borders. And then when you get to the end of the book, there's a final story which has the 3D effect. So now I've got both issues of Cookie, and I'm going to try to make a cover for this. I've already started the process. I'm not done yet, but I went on a website called Comic Book Plus. Check it out. It's a great website where they have a database of comics that are in the public domain, and they scan them and put them up there. You can see the whole thing from the front cover to the back cover, every ad page. And they've got lots and lots of public domain comics up there. So Cookie's up there. So I went there and I downloaded the 4 images. I got the front cover and the back cover and the inside front and back cover. They're all individual scans. I found some kind of free app online where I was able to stitch them together. And this is just a proof of concept. This is not the final cover for my comic book, but I went down to a local print shop and asked them if they could print it for me. And so this one I got as just a proof of concept. It's not the right size. I need to stretch it and make it a little bigger, but it looks like it's going to work. So that one will be fixed up pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited about that. Another thing I've been picking up lately are these little tiny comics that came from IGA Foods, and there was a series of them. I have 2 now. I have a Thanksgiving one about Plymouth Rock, and I found this one with the Declaration of Independence. You can see it's in a regular size current backer board, so it's pretty small. But it tells the story of the Declaration of Independence. They were little historical comics that came out. I think there might be one about Abraham Lincoln and some other topics like that. Here's a modern comic, Vampirilla, number 13. And that is a Stephanie Buscema variant cover. And she does this kind of style. And for each of these issues of Vampirilla, this is issue 13. I think maybe there was 13 or 14 of them. There was a variant cover that she did in this style. So I'm trying to collect all of those. I really like her art style, particularly for Vampirilla. She did it for Red Sonja. She did it for Archie, some Disney covers, but the ones I like the best are her interpretation of Vampirilla. And I've got almost all of these. I think maybe 2 or 3 to go. So whittling down there. This one I found, this is a Canadian version of True to Life romances. I think this is a fairly rare comic, seems to be hard to find. I didn't look it up on the Gerber guide or anything, but it seems to be pretty difficult to find. This is an LB Cole cover, and this is the Canadian version, Star Publications. Pretty cool cover. What does she say? Why don't you ever show me such tenderness? And he says, because I don't believe in displays of an emotion. And they're sitting there watching a movie with an actual picture from the movie. So I thought that was pretty cool. This one is really cool. And I have never seen this before. It popped up on eBay and I was able to make an offer and get it for $5. It's a Golden Age comic book called Newkadia. And this thing is beat. You can see down here, there's some of the cover torn off here. Here, the cover's not torn off, but the whole thing is missing. You know, lots of pieces missing here and here. But this is really cool. So Newkadia was a doll, and she was a nurse doll, and she would come with like a little first aid kit and training manuals. And this was one of the comics that spoke about that. And I thought that was really cool. I've never seen it before, and I can't find another copy of it anywhere. And I tried to look this one up in the Gerber guide. I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right place, because I've noticed it's not all alphabetical. I'm still getting used to that guide because I just recently got it. But I thought, gosh, that is a really cool Golden Age comic that you don't see around that much. So hopefully I will be able to find a copy that's in better condition, but I'm really happy to have this, and it's a good placeholder for now. I've never seen another one. I'll keep looking. Another cool promo comic I got is this one is from 1949, and this is from JCPenney, right? It's called Our United States. And so this is, I didn't realize this when I purchased this. From the picture I couldn't tell, but this is not the size of a regular comic. So let me just compare it to Newkadia here, so you could say, okay, it's pretty small. And the other thing about it, I didn't realize, because I've never seen this before, is this is where it opens. It opens top to bottom, not on the side. Okay, so what is this? This is a promotional comic that was given out at JCPenney, and it was to promote our country. And in here is one page dedicated to each state. Okay, so it starts and it goes alphabetically. So it starts with Alabama, and it tells some, you see the picture of Alabama up in the top, and it gives some historical information about Alabama, the importance of that state, what minerals or products are made there. And it just goes through alphabetically. Here's Louisiana and Maine, for instance. And it goes all the way to Wyoming. And the back of the book has this blurb, which I find really great. This book was designed and printed as a gift for our young customers. We are proud to present the state-by-state story of the land you live in. As you look over these pages, think about what a truly great country the United States is, and you'll realize how fortunate you are to be living in the land of the free and the home of the brave, where everyone has an opportunity to realize his hopes, dreams, and ambitions. And I hope our country can get back to that, where we're proud citizens to be here. Now, something that's really cool about this is this was produced in 1949. So that means that 2 states are not in here, Alaska and Hawaii. So I really like that. It's a little bit of history, and it's very interesting to read each page about the state, what they thought was important at that time. Jumping back to a modern comic book, I picked up Fantastic Four 252. And I thought this was a great cover. It's in the landscape orientation. I thought that was pretty cool. And as it turns out, the entire book is landscape. So you need to read this like this. And so I went through it. Every page is landscape like this. And did you know, this one has that tattoo in the back, just like the Spider-Man, is it number 238 with the hobgoblin? And you know, if you have the tattoos or you don't have the tattoos, different price on the book. This one's not expensive. The tattoos are there, but it's really not that expensive. But I thought that was really cool. I do have a bunch of Fantastic Four, a lot of Silver Age Fantastic Four, and you know, some into this time period, but I didn't have this one. I thought it's really cool that it's landscape, and it's a pretty cool cover as well. All right, here's something interesting. This is a 12-cent comic from Australia called Jane. And I just picked that one up because I thought, wow, that's a pretty cool cover on it. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is the cover's not glossy like United States Comics. It's the newsprint, just like inside the book. And although the cover is colored, the inside is all black and white. Now, the first story is Jane, Gungirl, and it's got lots of panels in it. So it's kind of like an old Dick Tracy. There's a nice panel here of her in her lingerie there. And this story runs about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pages. And every page is just full of story, and it's a good story. And then after that, there are some other comics on it. Here's, you know, a 1-page gag comic, and here's another comic. It looks like it's the Kilroys. I think it's the Kilroys, which is an American comics group, an ACG comic that has some of the ones in the True Vision. And then that runs to the end. So that's pretty cool. Then I found, I do like Charlton Silver Age comics quite a bit. And I'm starting to find some that I haven't seen before. I do like some of the romance novels and, or the romance comic books, I should say. And there is one called Romantic Story that I have a couple of issues from. I was looking for a different one, and this one popped up, and I thought that was a really cool cover, making out on the ski slope there, and the perspective of them framed by the skis and the ski poles with the lodge in the back. That's a very beautiful romance cover. So I have a handful of romance. And here's another one, which I'd never heard before. It's called Sue and Sally Smith, Flying Nurses. And so here is the comic. There's a story, the last story in the book is called Death Mountain, and it is about what's going on here on the cover. And so I just stumbled upon this one, wasn't looking for it, but I saw it on eBay, and I looked into it. It only ran about 5 or 6 issues. It's not something I heard of before, but that was a really cool cover, so I grabbed that one. Then the next handful of books here, there was an eBay seller having a huge sale. It was like, I don't know, 30-40% off, and you combine them, the shipping was hardly anything. So I wound up picking up a bunch of books from this seller, and they were all like, I don't think anyone was more than $2, like $1, $1.50, $2. So I got some cool stuff. The first one is this Whitman Starstream. Now, until a couple of months ago, I never even heard about this, but a couple of months ago, I was traveling on the mainland, and I was in sunny Burbank, California, as Johnny Carson would like to say. And I went to this comic store called House of Secrets, which I really recommend. If you're ever in LA, Burbank area, House of Secrets is great. They got a big wall of comics. They got a glass case of comics, a couple of spinner racks, rows and rows of back issues. I have this back room that has a lot of golden age comics in there that you can just dig through. And the owner is a really friendly, fantastic, helpful person. So check out House of Secrets in Burbank if you ever get the chance. On the wall, he had issues 2 and 3 of Starstream. And I had never seen it before, but it caught my eye and I looked at it. And this is issue 4, which I found on eBay for like $1 or $2. I couldn't believe it. I paid more than that in House of Secrets. I think I must have paid about $8 or $10 for each of them. They're very thick. You can see it was 79 cents. They're very thick. And what this is that this comic took sci-fi writer short stories and turned them into comic books. Okay, so this one has a story by Paul Anderson, Pamela Eckert, Isaac Asimov, my favorite sci-fi writer, Stephen Golden, Roger Elwood, and Robert Bloch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And basically, it's just their short stories told in comic book form. And I think there were only 4 issues as far as I could tell. And this is the one that I still need to hunt down. These are the 2 I found in House of Secrets, and this is the one I'm holding in my hand. So that was really cool. And another thing I got from this seller was this Marvel one-shot Black Knight. And this is the origin story of Black Knight. And, you know, he's getting pretty hot now because he showed up in the Eternals. And if you try to find the original Black Knight comic book, it's very pricey. The Toby Press one is going up. And even some of the more modern Black Knights, I think there was like a 4-issue miniseries in the 80s or 90s. I found a couple of issues of those for $1 a piece before all this hype came out that they're now selling for like 30-40 bucks. So this one was pretty cool. It's the origin story, and I paged through it. I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's got a great cover. It's very reminiscent of the Toby Press or the original Black Knight comic book. So I found that one. And from the same seller, I got an issue of Orion. I think I've mentioned this before, but I recently found out about these stories. These are Walt Simonson stories in art. And I picked up a couple of issues. There was one issue, which was a silent issue. It was only sound effects. There was no talking at all. And I found that one and I read it. The art is fantastic. And what's happening was fantastic. So I got interested in it. I looked into it and I found out that Walt Simonson was doing this run. Picked up a couple of other issues that were in dollar bins, loved it. So I'm looking for these whenever I can find them for $1 or $2. I'm picking them up to try to fill in the run. So I got this issue. Another issue I got from the same seller, modern issue from, what is this called? Adventure Comics, part of Malibu Comics, is Planet of the Apes. I have another issue in this series. And so I liked it and I figured, I saw this one. I'll just keep, if I can keep finding them for $1 or so, I'll fill it in. They're not in color, they're in black and white, but the art's good, the story's good. And I like Planet of the Apes. I used to love watching Planet of the Apes on the 4:30 movie. I was growing up in New Jersey and there was a New York television station that had this thing called the 4:30 movie. It was really cool because they had like weekly themes. Like one week might be like the Godzilla week. One week might be the Universal Monsters week. And they always had, about once a year, they did the Planet of the Apes. And so from Monday through Friday, after school, I could come home and, watch the whole Planet of the Apes series, Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, all that stuff. So big Planet of the Apes fan. This seller also had this one. This is one I've actually been looking for. This is Red Circle Comics, which is basically Archie comics. And they were trying to reintroduce some of their characters that had gone out of print. This is from 1983. So if you ever see these Red Circle comics, you see a lot of the Archie type characters, superheroes, romance, and they were only around for a couple of years. They did this, but I've been looking for this one, Katie Keene special, and usually it's pretty pricey, like over $10. So when I found this for just a couple of bucks, I grabbed it. I am not sure. If anybody knows, please let me know in the comments, if this is new or reprint, because most of the times you can read down here in the indica that it's a reprint, and I don't see that there. But when I look at the art that's here, it looks like it might be older art from like the Golden Age comic books. Take a look at this guy here. So I don't know if they're just trying to make it look that way or if it's just a reprint. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm trying to find out, but it's pretty cool. It has like, the pinup pages, used to cut the dolls out and stuff, and pretty cute cover. And the last one I got from the same seller, this was less than $1. And I don't know anything about this, but I liked the cover, and it's called Mediterranea. And this is issue number 1. I've got to look into it and see who this artist is. This is from GG Studio, Napoli, Italy, and July 2010, first printing. So I don't know much about it, but I like the art. I thought that cover was just gorgeous, and I've paged through it. I haven't read it yet. I've paged through it. It looks like it's a pretty interesting story, and it's well done. Whoever this GG Studio is, it's well done. And so I'm looking forward to reading that, see if I want to find the following issues. I think it was a mini-series. Here's another issue I got from First Comics called American Flag, and this is issue number 46. This is one of those comics with the look through the leg perspectives that I like. I've been looking for this one for quite a while, and I never wanted to pay how much people were asking. Most of the ones I see that are like $15 or more. So this one I got for $1.38, and it's a little dirty. You can see here, right? I tried to get that off with some of that absorbine and an eraser. I couldn't get all of it off. Unfortunately, it's a little bit dirty, but I would rather pay $1.38 than like 15 or 20 bucks for it. And I have that one. And then here's a cool comic from EC Comics. This is Frontline comic number 9. Now, what's cool about this is a Civil War issue. And I wasn't looking for this one. I was actually looking for their other war comic, Two-Fisted Tales. They have one issue about a Civil War. It's a really cool cover. It's kind of blue hues. And I think it's the battle between the Monitor and the Merrimack. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like these guys are looking out. They're inside one of those ironclads. They're looking out like the cutouts, the gun ports, and they see the other one. And it's a Civil War issue. I think that's the only Civil War issue that they did in Two-Fisted Tales. And then when I was looking for that one, I stumbled upon this one, which is also a Civil War issue. So I wanted to get both of them. And so I found this one for a good deal and picked it up. And I'm still looking for the right Two-Fisted Tales at the right price and the right condition for me. Now, this one is called Knockout Adventures #1. I just bought this recently. I was on the phone with Mike Smith. We were chatting about life and about comic books, and he mentioned this one. And while I was on the phone with him, I looked it up. I found a good deal. And ironically, when this showed up really quickly, because I didn't realize it, but the person on eBay I bought this from lives in Hawaii, as do I. So it made it here in just a couple of days. And I think that's just a gorgeous cover. This is a one-shot. There's no other issues of this. Now, I'm putting a question out here to anyone who's viewing this. If you know the answer, let me know. This looks a lot like EC Comics. This is Fiction House, but it looks a lot like EC Comics. If you look at the style of this, the glare is tough today. But down here, along this side of the comic, it says Fighting Men and Danger on that little strip, right? And then across the top here, it says Two-Fisted Tales of He-Man Action. Right now, let me show you side by side with the Frontline comic that I just showed you. See how the Frontline comic down the side says War and Fighting Men. And look at that Knockout Adventures and the combat font. It's kind of similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. It's got the same style. And so the other EC War comic is called Two-Fisted Tales. This up here says Two-Fisted Tales. And on the Two-Fisted Tales, down this side of the comic, it says He-Man Adventures. And up here, or He-Man Action. And up here, it says He-Man Action. So here's the question. What is the connection between this and EC Comics? Was there a connection between Fiction House and EC Comics? Or were they just, EC Comics, I know, was very popular pre-code, right, before the that Senate hearing, and were they just trying to jump on that bandwagon and get people to buy this thinking it was an EC comic? I don't know. If anybody has that information, I love history of comics, and if anybody knows that, I'd be really curious to know what you know. I've dug around a little. I haven't found anything. I'm going to try to dig around some more, but I think there's definitely a connection because of the style of, this bar down the side, the font up here, and particularly the words up there. This comic, Wings Comics number 103, shout out to I Love Disney and Comics. He's got a YouTube channel, and he DM'd me on Instagram and said, "Hey Joe, I heard you like train covers," and he found a couple that were up there on eBay. Say, "Hey, did you know about this one? This is one of the two he told me about, and I really like it." So I picked this one up, and that's a great Wings cover with the airplane, the train in the background below. Many stories in here, great art, a lot of adventure. I'm probably going to be looking for some more Wings comics, and they're not that expensive. Back to a modern comic. Here's Devil's Due Hack and Slash. And I picked this one up. This is a Dan Parent cover, and it's kind of a play on the Archie innuendo covers. So this girl here is talking to Tabor down here, says, "Hey, Tabor, you're covered in sea men." And what does Tabor says? "These innuendo jokes are getting out of control." And so it looks like it's an old comic. You can see the spine roll here and the tear here, but that's actually just printed on the cover to simulate that it's like that. And the interior artwork is all Dan Parent, done in the Archie style. So I was looking for that one, and I finally found a copy. All right, next stack of comics. Most of these, the remaining comics, I got at my local comic shop. I went there a few days ago to get a few short boxes to put all these comics in that I've been buying. And he had this one, Gobbledygook #1. This is by Eastman and Laird. who did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's very similar style. It's in black and white on the inside. It's a thick comic book, got a nice wraparound cover. And this is one I've actually been looking for. And he had it for a good price, gave me 15% off. He's got a great shop and he always gives me good deals. So I love going in there, talking to him and buying some comics from him. So I got this one. And then if you've seen on a previous video, he had these dollar boxes I was digging through, and it was just loaded with Golden Age comics. And I got some really great comics out of there. I got a Spirit, a Phantom, Harvey Hits Phantom, 3 issues of Dick Tracy. They were all Golden Age comics for $1, as well as some other comics. So while I was there getting my storage boxes, I noticed that long box of dollar comics had been filled back up. So I went over there and I dug through there again. And probably about 75% of it was stuff that I had already seen last time, but he had added some stuff to it. So this time I got some good deals on Silver Age comics. All the Golden Age stuff I had already seen, and it wasn't stuff I wanted, but there were a bunch of Charlton and King Silver Age comics. So I'm going to show you those. There are a couple others as well. I got this Apple Comics issue 1, Mr. Fix-It. And this is a modern comic. It's from, I think, the 80s. Let me see if I'm right. Where is it? Oh, there it is, 1989. Black and white interiors. A lot of these publishers were in the 80s, but that just caught my eye. It really reminds me of like a late Golden Age cover. And so Apple Comics, I have some other stuff from Apple Comics about Vietnam, the Vietnam War. And so I grabbed that one. It was $1. I got DC Weird Western Tales number 15 for $1. These are great. That's a great price. And then the rest of these were either King or Charlton Comics. So the first one is Mandrake I think this is number 9. It is number 9. Mandrake the Magician number 9. I like Mandrake. I grab these whenever I can. I got maybe 3 or 4 issues of Mandrake right now. This is a great cover. Look at that. I love the red letterhead against the blue wall, and the gangsters, he's stumbling into this trap with the gangsters. So I've got that one. That was $1. I got Black Hood, Man of Mystery, number 50, Mighty Comics. Great Silver Age cover there. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is part of the Archie Comics line. I'm pretty sure it is. And I got a couple of issues, Western issues of Texas Rangers in Action. I got issue number 67 for $1, as well as issue number 68 for $1. So I would not leave those behind for just $1. And then this one I thought was really cool, Thunderbolt number 60, Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. And again, this was another $1 pickup. And there's a crazy villain there on the cover. I mean, that is so Silver Age, isn't it? All right, now the next 3 were also $1. And I already had these. I just grabbed them because they're worth way more than $1. And I'm just going to see if if this is better than the one I have, or vice versa. I'll keep the one that's better. If anyone else is looking for these, let me know, because now I have duplicates. This is Mandrake number 3. Yeah, I think the other one I have is better. This does have like that color break increase there, but still for $1, that's a fantastic buy. And I got 2 issues of Charlton Phantom. I'm trying to put this run together. I only need 1 more issue. I think it's like 53 or 54. This is issue number 33, Jim Aparo cover, in very good condition. And this is issue number 30, also in very good condition. When I say very good, I don't mean, the very good by grading standards. It's just a really nice copy. So those were all the pickups from my local comic shop. Most of them were for $1. So here's another one. All right, this is a key issue. All right, this is Adventure Comics number 283. Okay, now what is the significance of this issue? This one is, as you can see, it's got a water stain there. It's got this number 3 there. Looks like it was marker. It's not coming off. But other than that, it's in pretty good shape. And I stumbled upon this on the CGC sell boards. So the guy who was selling it there, I can't remember his name right now, but he's also posts on Instagram. And I was just scrolling through killing some time, scrolling through the CGC boards, and I came upon this listing of all these comics he was selling, and this was in there. Selling about each post was a different comic, and most of the comics he had there were like claimed already. This one was not. And each day he went back and he lowered the price on it. So he posted it for a certain price, and then the next day, if it wasn't sold, he went back. He's like, any comics that are not sold yet, 10% off. The next day, 15%. That's when I claimed it. And the following day, he even lowered his comics 20% off. So I could have got a little more off, but it was a great deal. So this is the first appearance of General Zod in the Phantom Zone. I'm not sure if it's the first appearance of the Phantom Zone. I think it is. I'm not 100%. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but this is the first appearance of General Zod. And I got this for a really good deal with that, and it was free shipping. I was really happy to add that one. And like I said, it's got some issues, but it's fairly presentable. And it can go pretty pricey. So I got a great deal on that. I couldn't believe, actually, the price that he was asking to start with was less than any I had seen even before he had the 15% off. So I really snagged that. A great deal. And he threw this one in, Savage She-Hulk number 8, with a great cover with that skeleton down there and the man thing behind. Really great Savage She-Hulk that I didn't have. Okay, final comic. This is the Fighting Yank number 27. And this is a train cover that I think is just fantastic. This is my first issue of Fighting Yank. I was hoping to add an issue of Fighting Yank to my collection. And when I saw this one with the train cover, I figured this is the one I would go after. So it's got a little issues down here. It's got a subscription crease, but I think it presents fairly well. And it is a great Alex Schoenberg cover. Chase, motorcycle chase, the dame shooting back in the red dress, the guy with the evil mustache, the train on the side. I think that just is a fantastic, fantastic art piece right there. So I'm really happy to add that one to my collection. So that's it, folks. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed watching my comic haul. And if you like it, maybe you can like and subscribe. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye-bye, comic addicts. See you next time.